Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk a huge piece of news as far as a Steam mod goes, and this was a pretty bad one as far as a breach. Downfall, the Steam mod for Slay the Spire, was breached, and again, this was pretty bad. I'll go over the Steam community post. Slay the Spire is a game that I've talked up quite a bit, has a pretty strong modding community. We'll talk that in a little bit. And then also, want to give you guys my opinions on Starfield and the reception for that game. Obviously, it hit a brand new kind of milestone. I don't know if you would call something negative a milestone, but we'll talk that in a little bit. But first of all, this is really what I want to talk about. Downfall, the Steam standalone was breached. Please read, as noted on the official community page for Slay the Spire Downfall. The community post notes this: Hello everyone, I bring some unfortunate news today. Yesterday, Christmas Day, at roughly 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we experienced a security breach. At roughly 1:20 p.m., that breach allowed a malicious upload to overtake our game on Steam's library for a period of roughly 1 hour. Our Steam and Discord accounts were hijacked, and though the Steam accounts were able to be recovered late in the evening, we were limited in our ability to warn or communicate immediately following the breach. Fortunately, we were able to contain the actual breach much more quickly than the amount of time it took to recover the accounts. The important parts you need to know are this. They go over the breach window. Downfall is safe to launch once more. If you did not launch Downfall in the breach window, you're clear. If you got an automatic update for Downfall on 12/25 but did not launch it, you're clear. If you launched Downfall via the Steam Workshop, you're clear. If you did launch Downfall on 12/25 and succeeded and everything looked normal, you're clear. If you did launch Downfall on 12-25 and saw a command prompt-like screen that started spitting out a bunch of text after about 10 seconds, you're in the clear. That was actually just the Java log, which we usually keep hidden but accidentally left visible when we restore the game. If you did launch Downfall on 12/25 and got a no exe found type of error, you're clear. That was us exploding the game to prevent anyone else from being affected. And then if you did launch Downfall on 12/25 during the breach window and got a Unity library installer pop-up, please continue to read. You may be also at risk. The security breach allowed a malicious upload to replace the Downfall package game. If you were one who saw that Unity library pop-up, here is the information we have at this time involving the malware that may have affected you. Most antiviruses seem to have not stopped the malware specifically from executing, but do stop its payload from being sent across the internet. That means you aren't automatically damaged by the attack. The payload it tries to scrape and generate involves passwords specifically from your browsers, Discord, and a few other applications: Windows local login, Google Chrome, Yandex, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Discord, and files that may contain the word password if password is in the file name. If you saw the Unity pop-up or otherwise feel you may be breached, we recommend you changing important passwords, particularly ones that are not set up for two-factor authentication. I highly recommend for any of you that use stuff like, especially Steam, have two-factor authentication enabled. You know, it'll just add an extra layer of security. Any account that is set up for mobile two-factor authentication should be immune. You should also be sure your live protection is active and run any scans. I would also recommend using stuff like a password manager and try not to reuse passwords on important things. You know, typical security measures to take, like the basic of basic stuff. But some people, like, and I totally understand, are a little bit, they just don't take the extra precaution as far as securing their accounts. And it's one thing if, you know, an account you don't care about gets hacked, but even then, the personal information might be in there. But if you're talking about a Steam account or like an Amazon account, God forbid, that would be really bad. And they also note another user has reported it looked like in the app data roaming folder, there was a folder named Unity Lib Manager, which was created at the time of the other malicious folders and files, and that was what Windows Defender detected. We're still working with affected users to gather and share as much data as possible that we can. We are also communicating with Valve. Obviously, this is a major breach, and one of the worst ones that I've seen as far as a Steam title, especially on Christmas Day. Like, I don't know what the specific developers were doing, but if it's Christmas Day, you're not going to be around your computer, you know, I would imagine every hour of the day, and if you're with, like, family, that's just, like, in a very unfortunate situation where this would go down. And 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time is, like, exactly the time where people do stuff for Christmas Day. So just very unfortunate all around. And yeah, they obviously apologize. I can't apologize enough to the affected users that thought that someone would hijack a free passion project for malicious intent. It's truly vile. If you are affected user, please contact me either on Steam or Discord. or email. They go over all of the information, and they did do an update. We just updated the game intentionally, switching to a fresh, clean depot for the future use. Do not be alarmed if you see an automatic update. So that is for Slay the Spire Downfall. It is a free mod and totally free passion project for the game, and to take advantage of something like this, very, very unfortunate. You know, it has been received very well as far as the reception goes. 3,100 reviews, 97% positive, but if you did have this installed, make sure you're in the clear. I imagine that a lot of you guys didn't have it installed. Slay the Spire is still, you know, to my channel, I guess, a relatively niche game. It's been received really well, and I've talked about it several times, but it's like, there's an expansion to Slay the Spire as well. So a lot of you guys may not have it, but if you did, might as well go the extra mile and make sure you're in the clear. Moving on from that, I do want to quickly note Starfield. Oh, man. Obviously, this game was in the Platinum category for the Steam 2023, like, recap, which means this game generated a lot of revenue. As a new release in 2023, it did very, very well. And the crazy thing is, it was in the Platinum category on Steam. This game was also available on Xbox Game Pass, so obviously Bethesda and Microsoft cut into their own sales to promote Game Pass and get people to sign up to Game Pass. Now, the thing is, Starfield also had that Premium Edition gimmick where if you bought the Premium Edition, you would get access to the game, I believe it was 3 days early? I think it was 3 days early. And, even then, on Game Pass, if you had Game Pass subscribed, you could just pay, like, the $30 to upgrade to the Premium Edition and keep your Game Pass subscription, and you would still get to play it early. So, obviously, you would think that they cut into their own sales, but it still did very well from a sales standpoint. Community reception is an entirely different thing. Right now, all-time reviews sit at 87,000 reviews, 65% positive, which it was at mostly positive for a little bit, but now it fell to mixed reception, but even more unfortunate, at least for Bethesda and this game's reception. Recent reviews, 7,392 reviews, 28% of those reviews are positive. Mostly negative for a Bethesda big budget game is just wild to see, and this is one of the most anticipated games of the year, and I certainly liked Starfield a lot more than a lot of other people. It did have its performance issues, but you kind of know that going in. I hate to say that, but it's a Bethesda game, and you just kind of know it's going to be a train wreck as far as that's concerned. The game itself, I feel like is one of those alarming showcases that when you try to expand a game, at some point you hit a point where you do dilute what the game is. Starfield has all of these planets to explore, but a lot of them are these barren wastelands, and I get it, that's a part of the shtick, but I would have rather preferred a more contained world. You know, I hope that's what they go with Elder Scrolls 6 when we get that in 2083, but nonetheless, I think with gaming in general, I just think they're getting bigger and bigger, and then diluting the content across the board, making these development times egregiously lengthy, where honestly, it would be better if these games were scaled back a little bit and, you know, the development time would hopefully be shortened and you would get more attention to detail with the smaller world that you have. Like, look at it a decade and a half ago. We had the release of Fallout 3 in 2008, fall of 2008. 3 years later, they turned around and released Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Those two games are exponentially better received than the two most recent Bethesda single-player titles, which are Fallout 4, came out back in fall of 2015. 8 years later, Starfield comes out. 8 years in between games, where Fallout 3 and Skyrim had 3 years in between games. Development cycle gets longer, game quality goes down, and this is just not a Bethesda thing, this is across the board for a lot of studios. Look at a BioWare. BioWare dropped the entire Mass Effect trilogy in the span of like 4 or 5 years, and what have they done in the last 4 or 5 years? Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem. Wow, dude. But yeah, that's a diatribe that I seem to go on all the time, but I feel like it's reflective in Bethesda, and it's pronounced as well. I just hope we don't have to wait until, like, I mean, we're gonna have to wait until, like, 2028 for Elder Scrolls 6. It's not like we're getting that game any sooner. Bethesda literally revealed that game to quell the anger from people when they were focusing on live service and mobile games, like Fallout 76 and Blades. They totally revealed Elder Scrolls 6 just to pacify people and make you think that that game was coming out soon. That was a total misleading trailer that they dropped in terms of, you know, they wanted to show that they still had focus on single-player titles, so they wouldn't get completely crapped on when they, that year's E3, it was focused on, I believe, Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Blades, and they did the Starfield reveal trailer, and that came ultimately after that reveal trailer dropped, came out 5.5 years later, and that's gonna be the, Elder Scrolls 6, by the time it comes out, a legitimate decade, at the very least, a decade would have passed before that game came out, which is just absolutely egregious, and I hope more developers stop doing that. And it seems like the one that I can look at is like a Capcom and RGG, where they aren't whack and they reveal games years ahead of time. And like, just years ahead of time is one thing, like 10 years ahead of time, like, come on, man, you gotta chill with that. But Starfield not being received all too well. But that's gonna do it for me. Again, if you did have Downfall installed, it was breached, so make sure you're in the clear on that. And then Starfield, mostly negative reception on that in recent reviews. Just wild to see that for a big budget Bethesda game, but I think a lot of people would deem Bethesda to be washed at this point. Like, compared to where they were, yeah, they are kind of washed. And again, I like Starfield more than a lot of other people, but even I can see that. Like, go back to where we were in 2008, 2011. Like, those to me were Bethesda titles that I really got into. And a lot of people think Skyrim is like a very like average game and stripped away a lot of the depth to Elder Scrolls as a whole. So take that for what you will. But again, that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.